It is right. I looked it up. But I hate it. Yeah. We love it.
Oh, man. Okay. Shelby, you want to do the intro?
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Maybe.
Yeah. Thanks for listening, guys. No, what am I saying?
That's the end.
Yep. Okay, anyway, starting over. Hi, friends. You're listening to The Triad, where we're spooky but sensitive. I'm Shelby.
I'm Hannah.
I'm Shannon.
I hate everything. Okay, let's go.
Announcements. Are there any announcements?
It's very cold in Maine and it is very hot in Illinois.
Yep.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
I might have to get a blanket in a minute.
Oh my gosh. What temperature is
Yeah.
it there?
Well, it's 61 outside, but it's way colder in my house because I let it get cold last night and didn't do anything about it.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah, it is 87 degrees outside here.
According to the air conditioner that is right next to my desk, that is currently turned off at 77 inside.
Disgusting.
Still ew.
Yeah.
And Yuki has decided she is going to lay on my feet.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's great. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Do we have any,
real
actual
announcements? No.
I don't think I do.
It's ADHD Awareness Month.
Yeah.
Isn't it just Mental Health Awareness Month? Because it's, yeah. I think it's...
Okay, I don't know.
I think it's Mental Health Awareness Month.
But it's also ADHD Awareness Month. Which I guess got
Oh, no,
looped
that's
into
in
that.
May. What did I think is in October? It's not that. I thought something else was... oh, it's National Depression and Health Screening Month. Why are these all... Whatever. Okay.
Can we just
Anyway.
combine them all into one and
That's
then,
what that's what Mental Health Month is. Like, I don't know why we have...
so I was gonna...
And then, like, have separate weeks or something, or, like, days for each individual one. Like, that seems more efficient.
I don't know.
I'm sure it's like something ridiculous too today. I'm gonna look it up.
Oh, I'm sure it is. There's always some sort of, like, random,
Today is
National... So, I don't know, eat peanut butter day.
It's National Walk to a Park Day and National Angel Food Cake Day.
Cool.
Okay.
Love that.
Whatever.
Today is World Mental Health Day, Shannon.
That's okay.
Gotcha.
It is also... Wait, I have to read all of these. Hold on.
I just remembered, because, like, in law school, we had, like, you know, I was on the board of the disability club, basically, and I remembered we always did stuff in October, but I couldn't remember, like, why. That was why.
Because it's October 10th.
Yeah. Okay. That's why, then.
It is also National Handbag Day, National Cake Decorating Day, Clergy Appreciation Day, and National Metric Day. Does that just mean, like, metric system? Let's find out.
Oh my goodness.
We don't even have the metric system, or use it
on
in
10/10, because it's base 10. Oh,
yeah. Oh
my
my
God.
Goodness.
National Metric Day recognizes the metric system, its history, and its benefits.
Okay.
But we refuse to use it because we're stupid.
Can we go ahead and get started?
Yes. Yes, we can.
Is it in the episodes folder or in your folder?
It's in the episodes folder, episode 67.
Oh!
Are you both here?
There's a town.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a town where near my grandma lives that's called that.
Yeah. Is she in New York?
Yeah.
Yes.
Then, yes. That is the town that this is based off of.
Yep.
Wait, why did you have so much Irish shit then? You'll explain.
Kind of. Okay, anyway, we are talking about the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Kind of. Okay. Anyway.
Okay. Oh, well, that was it's October, so we're
yes.
gonna do, like...
We're doing, like...
Halloween adjacent.
Yeah.
By the way, Hannah, we're doing Halloween adjacent episodes this month. Hope that's cool.
Oh, cool. Thanks
Right.
for the update. Glad I'm learning this in real time.
Uh-huh.
So,
well, I'll have to move my Susan B. Anthony presentation to next month.
Okay, you do that. Anyway, so yeah, Legend of Sleepy Hollow, kind of. Next slide. So what we're actually going to be talking about is the Headless Horseman and kind of like the mythology and folktales around that, which is what the story, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, is about a Headless Horseman. However, that is not the only Headless Horseman. So.
Dun, dun, dun.
Should the episode really be the Headless Horseman, then?
Yes, that is what I'm going to call it.
That's what I'll title it, then. Okay.
Well, look at the title of the slideshow. It's called that.
It's called The Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
No,
the title of the slide.
Oh.
Show.
Okay. Well, then.
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever.
Look, it's because I
Chill
made my title slide before I got into all of it. So, and then I didn't feel like editing it.
Okay.
Because I'm lazy. So I made a second title slide. As you do. Anyway, so we're talking about the Headless Horseman and, all the stuff that kind of goes with that.
Okay.
So basically, tales and folklore and mythology and all of that around, like, Headless Horseman type figures go way back in history. Most of it is Irish. However, there are variations in multiple other European countries. There might be some in other countries and ethnicities, but I do not know of them, and they didn't pop up in this research. So, not discluding you on purpose, I just don't know it. And the
Did you
ones...
say discluding? Is that a word?
I don't believe it is.
I don't know.
The word you're looking for is exclude.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
I thought
You
you
said
discluding.
disclude.
No,
you totally said...
You definitely
totally
said
said
disclude.
No, I didn't. I said exclude.
Shelby, I love you, but I pinky
We are
promise you said
telling
discluding.
you said discluding.
Okay, whatever. It doesn't matter.
It's okay.
Whatever. I chose more to focus on the, European countries, mostly the Irish, because that's what the, Legend of Sleepy Hollow one came from, and that's where I started my research. So, and that's where we're going to end this episode. So, anyway. In traditional Irish legends, there's a creature /ghost /ghoul /demon /whatever you want to call it. And it is called the Dullahan, or the Dark Man. And this creature is considered a malevolent harbinger of death. And
you said it right.
I know. When I was writing my notes, I was like, Shannon, how do you pronounce this word? And, spelled it out for her. She was like, harbinger? And I was like, yeah, because in my head it's harbinger. And I know that's not right.
And then we had a conversation about how I thought that taciturn was pronounced taciturn until I heard it pronounced on Buffy, even though, I know that it comes from tacit. It just didn't, click in my head.
Right, and, I know how to say harbinger. I just, in my head, it's harbinger. So
it's a whole thing. I don't know.
Do you want to hear the most dyslexic thing that's ever happened to me? And,
oh, God.
Which I now decided that I definitely am dyslexic. I don't need to go to the doctor. It's, confirmed. I was playing a board game.
We have a choice?
I was playing a board game, and there was this section on the cards that told you, what each character did. Mm-hmm. And it told you their tactics, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, what does this mean, tic-tacs? And I sat there for the longest fucking time, and I finally asked, what does this mean, tic-tacs? Because it was like a board game, kind of like chess, where you had to move stuff around. I was like, does that just mean zigzag? And he was like, that's his tactics. It's like, oh no!
Oh my goodness.
I'm so stupid.
It's fine.
I really...
Tic-tacs.
Tic-tacs. I have 3 degrees in English.
Yes, you do.
Tic Tacs. That's not even a hard word. It's pronounced just how it looks.
Yep.
That really confirmed it for me, though, that I am dyslexic. I was like, those letters did not make it to the right place.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, so the Dullahan...
Tic Tacs.
The Dullahan goes to the store and buys some Tic Tacs. So...
Tactics! He has a tactic!
But yeah, no, he's a harbinger of death, and in Celtic lore, it's considered the embodiment of Crom Dubh, who is a fertility god who demanded blood sacrifices in the form of decapitation.
I mean, cool. What fertility god doesn't?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's what
Nothing
I would
says
do.
Life and new birth like cutting someone's head off.
Right? And so worship of this god kind of like fell off when Christianity was brought to Ireland.
Wonder why.
Right, because it's not like we like forced Christianity on everybody.
I meant more that they probably didn't approve of the decapitation.
I mean, also that, but you know.
It depends on what kind of Catholic you are.
That's true.
TBH.
You're French, then.
Right, like the French Catholics, and then, you know, it's fine. It's fine.
If you're French, you keep doing that until the 70s.
Yeah, that really bothers me, that fact. I think about that a lot.
Yeah, for people who don't know, the fact that we are discussing is that France still guillotined people the same year that Star Wars came out. So, like...
Well, that was the last time they used the guillotine for a public execution. Was it a public execution?
It must have been.
It must have been. Why else would you whip out the guillotine?
Yeah.
If you're not going to make a performance of it.
Either way, it's not a good... It's not good.
Yep. But yeah, so worship of this god fell off, but it said that he still roams the land because he was angered by the fact that he no longer has any sacrifices, and so he just like roams around Ireland calling out the names of those who are doomed to die while carrying his own head under his arm.
Isn't that what banshees are? They scream when someone's about to die? Or did I
Yes.
They scream when they steal a boy. Yes.
Yes, banshees scream basically before someone is going to die.
That's what I thought.
So
and then they steal a boy.
Sure. Yes.
That's what my grandmother told me.
I thought they were just omens. I didn't know that they stole anything.
Depends on the legend.
Yeah.
For banshees.
Listen,
as with everything Irish, it just depends on like who tells you the story.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we like to exaggerate little details here and there. But yeah, so in some cases, the Dullahan is a dark fairy that is associated with the Celtic god I'm going to say this wrong. Cruach. This stupid guttural
Sounds
noises.
right to me.
It is right. I looked it up. But I hate it. And that god, sometimes that's another name for the Crom Dubh, the fertility god. Sometimes they're different gods. Again, all depends. But anyway, this one is the dark god of the burial mound, which I don't know how that relates to a fertility god, but you know, whatever.
That's like literally the opposite, but okay.
I mean, maybe it's the
It's
god
all
of life
related.
and
It's
death.
a circle of life.
Yeah.
Yeah. But either way, the story plays out the same way. Christianity comes to Ireland, the people stop sacrifices, and around the time that the sacrifices stop, legends of a Headless Horseman start popping up. So, yeah. And then this is just like a fun little side fact that I didn't know where to put, and this is where I put the trigger warning for you, Shannon, but just for anyone in general. In almost all of the like stories and legends in Ireland of a Headless Horseman, the people got super specific in describing how the head looks. And
Listen, we're storytellers.
Yeah, and basically it was like the decaying flesh of the face looks like moldy cheese, and the pallor is
Ew.
like bread, and it was just a whole, like,
Gross.
every single one. And I was like, I
Maybe
don't know
they were
if
just
that's
hungry.
I mean, maybe, but
I mean, it's very possible.
but yeah, I don't know exactly how far your thing on the words of like surgery and all of that stuff goes, Shannon. So I was like, I'll just
Don't
put
say
it
the
in
S word.
there because gross. But yeah, so that is just, they got real specific in being like, the face looks like blue cheese.
You know, normally that wouldn't bug me, but that's super cool. Cool.
Sorry.
New limit on that. Cool.
Yep. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Not your fault.
It's probably because I said the S word in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that
shouldn't
didn't
have said
help.
the S word.
Okay. So in many tales of the Dullahan Headless Horseman, he is seen on his own as a single rider on a horse, carrying his own grinning head, which sometimes glows in the dark, sometimes doesn't. But when it does, it's so you can see it from a distance and know he's coming to kill you and blah, blah, blah.
Hooray!
Usually, he is also seen carrying a whip, also another trigger warning, carrying a whip that is made out of a human spine.
Oh, I hate that! No.
And yeah, so he is carrying that in one hand and his head in the other.
Oh, I can't do spines. No. Ugh.
Yep,
Oh,
yes.
me neither, I guess. That was gross. I'm so
Yeah,
grossed out.
Shannon, because I was in the living room writing my notes and Shannon was on the couch, and so at that one point where I was like, ooh, I don't like that, I'm not using those pictures, it was because I typed in Dullahan, and every single picture that came up had a picture of him holding his spine whip, and I was like, no.
Ugh.
So
I'm gonna look it up, and then I'm gonna
no
vomit.
pictures
Nope,
of that on this slideshow because I didn't like it.
So, I feel like we've discussed this before, but when we talk about spines, I start being able to, like, feel mine, and I hate it.
Nope, that's the same with me.
Yeah,
Ooh,
like, and you know, like,
I'm looking at it!
Shelby knows this because, like, we live together and I complain, like, we both complain constantly. But, like, my neck has been fucking killing me the past few weeks. And, like, the pressures, because, like, my neck is, like, you're supposed to have, like, a curve to it if you're looking at it from the side, but mine is perfectly, not perfectly straight, but it's straight because of my scoliosis, and my neck was, like, compensating. And so I always have really bad pressure, like, at the base of my skull, and it's just been super bad. And I was explaining this to Shelby, and she says that she has to do this sometimes with her back. Like, I have to, like, scratch it, like, with my fingernails to get any kind of feeling back in it. And I want to stick something in my neck and just, like, dig it around because I feel like that will help.
Ew, Shannon,
and, like,
what the
that's
fuck?
where I'm at.
Right, like, it's one of those where, like, it's like, between the pressure and the, like, odd sort of, like, numbness, it makes you want to, like, take a knife and, like, scratch it.
Stop talking.
I'm sorry.
And so I brought this up.
So
the second
out.
she
It's
said
that thing that we're ever gonna do, but like mine is like between my shoulder blade and my spine. That's my spot that like bothers me, and that's like a fibromyalgia spot. But like, it's one of those that like just so you have like some sort of like feeling, basically.
And I brought that up because when she said spine, I started being able to feel my neck again, so that was fun.
Yeah. I'm having, like, really bad back spasms today, so it feels like there's a boa constrictor around my spine, so I just don't want to think about my back right now.
Yeah.
Shannon, I have that same thing, but with my kneecaps.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
And I texted Shelby why one time. But
I
remember because you were like, don't tell me, so I was like, I have to tell somebody, so I texted Shelby during an episode. Oh my god, my microphone made me loud again.
Fix it real quick.
Okay.
Are we good?
We're good.
Okay, cool. But yeah, that's the only time I'm going to
when
mention
we were
that,
talking about
because I don't want to talk about it. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
No.
So he has like a whip in one hand, his head in the other. Doesn't matter. But let's see, this is The Fairy and Folk Tales of the Irish Peasantry, which was edited by William Butler Yeats.
What right does Yeats... Fuck whatever.
I'm just saying that's where this quote came from, okay? The Doulahan is recorded as, quote, an omen
Just
that
kidding, he's an Irish poet.
I was going to say
I
he's
was confusing
Irish.
him with probably Robert Burns.
I don't know, but I was like, I'm pretty sure he's Irish.
No, he is. Sorry, Yates. Love you. Bye.
Okay.
It's been a
But
while.
yeah, so the Doulahan is recorded as an omen that sometimes accompanies the banshee in a coach abower. I don't know what that is, but it's an immense black coach mounted by a coffin and drawn by headless horses driven by a Doulahan. It will go rumbling to your door, and if you open it, a basin of blood will be thrown in your face.
Ew.
Cool.
So that's super fun.
It's a coach what?
It is a coach mounted by a coffin.
No, what's
What's the name of it?
Yeah.
Coach abower.
How do you spell that?
So coach dash BOWER.
Okay.
Is it like those
There was an
old
Irish
Victorian
word for
ones?
it, and I didn't feel like looking up how to pronounce yet another word, so I just put the English version of it.
It's
Yeah,
a death
they're like
coach.
they're the
It's just a it's a
hearses.
hearse. Yeah.
Okay. It's a horse-drawn hearse, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Which I don't know why I said I didn't know what it was, because I do know what it is. But you know.
That's Coachabauer is how you say it in Irish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well.
But it's spelled C-O with an accent I-S-T-E, new word, B-O-D-H-A-R.
Okay,
Yes,
so
'cause
then
those
this
letters
is just
make those noises.
this is just
It's
the
Irish.
I know.
English spelling of it then. Okay.
Yeah.
So I wonder if Bauer means death.
I don't
I have no idea.
know.
Google Translate.
But yeah, so sometimes he's like on a horse by himself, sometimes he is he's driving this hearse coach thing. And the coach is drawn usually by 6 horses. Sometimes they are headless, sometimes they are not. Again, all of that kind of just depends on the story for the most part. Yeah. Slide 3. Okay. So this is from Thomas Johnston Westrop's A Folklore Survey of County Clare. And in that there are multiple stories related to the Doulahan and his death coach.
Sorry.
Whoa.
I'm sending you, because you know how Google Translate like automatically starts translating the word even if you haven't finished typing it. I'm sending you a picture.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. What is this picture? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it?
Phone, are you gonna fuck? Hannah, can you explain it, please? Because I don't want to have to cut this.
Okay, I sent a picture because I typed out Cocha and then I was about to finish. I was writing out Bauer, but I typed B-O-D, which apparently in Irish means penis coach.
Oh my god. Yep, that's what he's driving. He's coming to get you with his penis coach.
It's like the Oscar Mayer wiener car, except it's death and it's a pee-pee.
It's the Wienermobile. Yes.
Except way worse.
I was already, like, picturing the whip in my head as, like, licorice or something, so I could forget it was a spine. So for it to be licorice and then the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile.
Oh my gosh, it's a headless dude in the Wienermobile eating licorice.
With licorice.
Hannah, I need you to draw this for me.
Okay, I'm on it.
Hey, it's my next tattoo.
Let me find a sticky note, my canvas of choice.
I still need to get the, what was it?
Mr. and Mrs.
The one from
Spicers.
Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Spicer, circa 1933.
I still need to get that when I have
Yeah,
money.
They're right here in front of me.
As a tattoo.
I have it saved in my phone.
Oh my gosh. I kind of want to get the
I'll sell you
I'm
the
on
original.
meth one, but without the words I'm on meth.
Yeah, that won't go
I
very
can't
well.
have that tattooed on my body. However, the little picture that you drew, that is basically just scribbles and a praying mantis on skis. 'Cause
I'm an artist, okay?
Anyway,
what am I drawing? An Oscar Mayer wiener?
You're Headless Horseman
Headless...
driving the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile while eating licorice.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
okay.
man.
So this is an excerpt from Thomas Johnson Westrop's A Folklore Survey of County Clare. This is just like one of the stories in there related to the Doulahan. But yeah. So, quote, on the night of December 11th, 1876, a servant of the McNamara's was going on his rounds at Ennistimon. In the dark, he heard the rumbling of wheels on the Black Avenue, and knowing from the hour and place that no, quote, mortal vehicle would be coming, concluded that it was the death coach and ran on, opening the gates before it. He had just enough time to open the third gate and throw himself on his face beside it at the bank before he heard a coach go clanking past. It did not stop at the house, but passed on. The following day, Admiral Sir Burton McNamara died. So.
I'm sorry,
yeah.
I may have missed something in there. How did he know that it wasn't like a normal coach?
Because the hour and... knowing from the hour and place that no mortal vehicle could be coming, he concluded that it was the death coach.
Okay.
So he doesn't know. He didn't actually see it. It was just super late at night, and they were, like, out in the country, and he was like, there's no way a person would be here.
That's, like...
And...
I could see that being a logical line of reasoning.
I mean, it was also 1876, so,
that's what I mean, like, for the time period, like, it would be really weird.
I take my dogs for walks at night, and, like, I live in, like, a neighborhood in Freiburg, and, like, half the time I'll be on the street that, like, your aunt lives on, behind me because they have no streetlights, and I'll be like, why is there a car? There shouldn't be a car here. There's no reason a car should be here. So, like,
yeah,
I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, between the fact that it was, like, super dark, out in the country, late at night, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
And then the next day, like, because he was a servant of the McNamara's, his boss basically, like, died the next day. He was like, it was the death coach. Yeah.
I mean, so. I get it, you know, like...
right? Like, I'm not
you had this weird
you,
coach,
dude.
And then all of a sudden, your boss is dead. Like, I get it.
Right, yeah, like, I'm not gonna fault you for that one.
No.
But yeah, so that's just, like, one of the, like, tales in that. And then... I will get to my sources at the end, but every once in a while in here I'll be like, oh, according to this website that I looked at, just know that I actually, like, put them in my credits and sources, but whatever.
You're fine.
Okay, so for this next one, according to the irishplace.com, if you look at the Doulahan, you will immediately be blinded, and if you hear it speak your name, you will soon die. There are no doors or locks that can keep it away. The only thing that can save you is gold. So, the Doulahan is believed to appear after sunset, like on certain festival and feast days, which is when people know to be wary of looking outside after the sun has gone down. The only thing that can frighten the Doulahan is precious metal, which when thrown on the ground before him can cause him and his horses to suddenly stop in their path and turn to flee.
Okay, so the reason I snorted before when you said gold was because I thought you had to pay him a bribe to get him to leave you alone.
Yeah, no, it's like you throw it at his feet and then he turns around and leaves.
It's like fairies and iron. It's like, yeah.
He's like scared of gold.
Just my first thought was, wow, this dude is literally coming into your house and shaking you down for money. Like,
right? Yeah, no, because that was my first thought when I read it, and then, like, no, because that was my first thought, because I, like, read, like, that one line is, like, the only thing that can save you is gold, like, on a different, like, in a different source, and then I, like, clicked to go to this actual source and, like, read the actual, like, reasoning behind it. But, yeah, it's just because he's, like, something with, like, precious metals turn him away. But, yeah, it's similar to, like, fairies and iron. So, yeah. But, yeah, and mostly that comes about because during the period when the stories of the Doulahan were the most popular in Ireland, most families were able to possess, like, actual gold. And so they were told to use their gold to frighten him if he called upon their house.
Okay.
I don't know. This is my own speculation, not based in any research or fact or anything, but I feel like that has something to do with Catholicism, but I don't know.
Wait, what does? Back up, I was drawing.
The fact that they have to use gold to get rid of this demon creature. And basically just, like, throw it out of their house.
No,
that's not a Catholic
paganism.
thing. Yeah.
No, but it just reminds me of the fact that you basically have to, like, pay to not go to purgatory.
Not anymore.
That's not a...
Okay, but in
that
1876...
only happened for a little bit.
That wasn't a thing in 1876.
And it wasn't in the 1800s.
No,
whatever.
That was in, like,
matter.
the 1400s.
Yeah, that we stopped that shit real fast. Trust me. What am I looking up over here?
Not according to the Baptists. According to the Baptists, you still do it.
Yeah, well, you guys
Baptists
think that
hate
we're
you.
devil worshippers, so I don't know what to fucking tell you, okay?
I wouldn't go to the Baptists for accurate information on Catholics. Just throw
They
it
hate us!
Okay, keep in mind, I was raised Baptist, but by Lutherans. So, like, we just hate the Catholics no matter what. I know nothing about Catholicism.
Listen,
Why were you arguing
Lutherans.
with her?
Yeah,
I'm not arguing. I'm saying I don't
I
know.
prayed a rosary today on the way
I literally
to Starbucks,
told you that
so
wasn't
I don't know
based
what
in
to tell you.
anything. So,
Well, no, when we said, like, no, that's not a thing anymore, you argued.
okay, whatever. Doesn't matter. Anyway, moving on. Next slide. Okay. Okay, so Tales of the Headless Horseman are not only found in Ireland, Headless Horsemen also appear in multiple German myths and folk tales, folk tales. Okay, so the Brothers Grimm recorded tales of Headless Horsemen that date back to the 1600s. At the beginning of their stories, they explain that any man who commits a crime that deserved to be punished by beheading during his lifetime will be condemned to be headless in his afterlife. And one of the stories that they recorded tells of a woman who is gathering acorns in the forest when she hears a hunting horn and a thud behind her. She turns around to see a rider standing over her with a gray horse and gray cloak. She thinks nothing of this and continues gathering acorns, which lady, if there's just some random dude
That's a very
standing
old-timey
over
problem.
you, like,
Yeah.
that seems weird, but okay. She's just like, oh, there's a random dude in the woods. Okay, let me get my acorns. But yeah, so the next day she goes back to the forest and she runs into the rider again, only this time he is carrying his own head. He asks the woman if she took the acorns without permission and tells her that when he was young, he drank excessively and took as he pleased, and that life of sin condemned him to an afterlife as an evil spirit. So basically the Headless Horseman is used as a cautionary tale.
Okay.
It's a dumb story in my mind, but
It reminds me of A Christmas Carol. If
yeah,
you're shitty, I mean, it's a really basic, like, if you're shitty things
Well,
are going to
and
happen to
that's-
you later, but...
that's what most of, like, the Brothers Grimm fairy tale folk tales are, is cautionary tales. It's literally like Hansel and Gretel, like, don't go into the woods because you'll be eaten alive or whatever. It's basically just like, don't wander, don't steal, be a good person, yada yada. Like, that's what...
Throw a witch in an oven, it's cool.
Right? It's fine. But yeah, that's what a lot of, at least, like, this type of folktale, fairy tale is like. They were used as, like, moral lessons. It's kind of like Aesop's Fables and stuff. So, but yeah. Anyway, it is basically just that, like, the Headless Horseman was also in German myths and folk tales. There is another version of the Headless Horseman in German tales, though. He is known as the Wild Huntsman, and in this tale, a man named Hackelberg in Brunswick is so devoted to hunting that when he dies, he begs God not to allow him into heaven, but to keep him on Earth so that he can continue hunting. So he stays on Earth as the
German.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. So he stays on Earth as the Wild Huntsman, roaming the woods on his horse with his pack of firing hounds on an eternal hunt. If a hunter hears the thunderous horn of the Wild Huntsman, they should not go hunting the next day, as they will never return home. The huntsman also appears during hunts as a figure of vengeance, seeking out those who have wronged others so that he can punish them.
Okay.
So, yeah. I couldn't find anything that explained why he is a headless horseman. I
Just
assume
because.
it probably has something to do with the way that he dies. He probably, like, dies on a hunt and somehow gets decapitated. I don't freaking know.
Or maybe that's
Either
like
way.
the trade-off for, like, yeah, you can stay on forever and hunt, but you can't have a head anymore.
Right. I don't know. But that's, like, the only version of, like, a headless horseman where he has, like, a pack of hounds with him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. And then in Norway, there are tales of ghosts without heads because the heads of corpses were cut off in order to make their ghosts more feeble in the afterlife. And
What the fuck, Norway?
Well, if you think about it, because they kind of likened this to the fact that, like, corpses would sometimes be buried with, like, a stake in the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Shelby, don't defend Norway on this.
I'm not. I'm just saying that it's similar
Okay.
to other things. Okay.
Yes, I got you.
But yeah, so it's basically to make, like, that person, like, weaker in the afterlife, or if they come back as a ghost. It was usually done to, like, criminals and things like that. So if they come back as a ghost,
not just like everyone that dies.
Yeah, it's so that like the ghost is weaker, and so it can't like do anything to you, basically.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I thought that I just
Yeah.
missed something, and that apparently Norway has been decapitating their corpses, and I just wasn't aware of that fact. But
No, and this was like
that's
way,
not
way, way
practice I
back in
was
the day.
aware of.
yeah,
Like way back in the day.
yeah.
Yeah. So
To me, that just seems like you pissed off a ghost and just made him even scarier. But that's
right,
just me.
like that would be my thing. But
I don't know.
in my mind, it just proves that like people have always been scared of the spirits of the dead and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it makes sense if you think about it, because like if there's like a dead body around, because I mean I know we like bury them or like whatever now, but like if there's a dead body around, whether it's an animal or a human, like you're gonna get sick.
Mm-hmm.
And so people always took that. It's kind of like when people like found mummies and then they were like everyone died, and I'm like, yeah, because you just exposed yourself to a whole bunch of like pathogens that and bacteria that like you're gonna get sick, duh. So but anyway.
Are you saying that mummies didn't kill people?
It was mummies curse people 100%. That is
Thank you.
true
Thank
fact. Okay, anyway.
I mean, people also ate mummies and nothing happened to them, so
People
that's
also
yeah,
use
another
I mean-
mummies as
Victorian nonsense
fertilizers.
thing. Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. That's another Victorian
Yeah, but
nonsense
like
thing we should
people
cover at one point.
also eat poisonous fish and nothing happens to them, but
Yeah.
other people do and then they die. So like
Yeah.
it's just it is what it is.
It's just nonsense, period.
It's just it's just human nonsense at this point.
Follow us for more garbage human facts.
Right. Humans are great. We love them. Anyway.
We sound like aliens doing a podcast.
That is
on
not the
humans.
tagline for this show normally.
Nope.
It is usually the exact opposite of that.
Humans
Oh,
are
those
great. We
little
love them.
primates
That
are
was
so
heavily sarcastic. Okay. Slide 5. All of these are just random pictures of Headless Horsemen, so it doesn't even matter what slide you're on. But yeah, so now we're gonna, I mean, obviously there's like stories of Headless Horsemen in other European countries, like, they have them in, like the Netherlands and, Scotland and stuff like that. I don't know, I just forgot the name for Scotland, it's fine. But I'm not gonna go into like every iteration of him that exists.
Yeah.
So, now we're going to talk about the legend of Sleepy Hollow and kind of how it came about and why it's a headless horseman, all of that. So probably like the most widely known version of a headless horseman, at least in America, is from the legend of Sleepy Hollow, which was written by Washington Irving in 1820. So, just kind of a brief little overview of what happens in that, if you don't know. The story takes place in a small New York village called Sleepy Hollow, which is the town that is near where Hannah's grandma lives.
It is true. They pop up on the weather all the time.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, it's a real town, and it takes place in this real town. But anyway, so Ichabod Crane is basically like the main character of it. He's a new school teacher in the town, and he attempts to court one of his students, which is disgusting, but fine. She is...
Wait, can I interject really quick?
Yes.
There's a lot of speculation that Ichabod Crane was gay because he doesn't really care that much about the student.
Mm-hmm.
What he's more interested in is food, and so that leads some scholars to speculate that maybe that was like a, I don't know, some kind of coded language to write back then. Shannon, weren't you in that class?
I don't remember if we talked about that in the class, but I did know that because, and that's why We Drink covered this story, like, fairly recently. Like, I remember them covering it, and they brought that up in the episode, was that how modern scholars think that may have been code for him being gay.
Yes, because he didn't care about the girl, he cared about the food.
He cared about food, like, which is
not
fair.
That, like, being gay is, like, all about food, but, like...
But if it's, like,
it just
coded...
means
I mean,
that he
it's the
didn't
1820s,
care about her.
So, like, if it's coded language, then...
Well, and just you would think that if it's actually a love story, he would care about the girl, and he doesn't.
Yeah,
he
would describe the girl, and he doesn't. He describes the food in great detail, but he describes the girl as like, yeah, there was this
She's
chick
a girl.
I was gonna...
Well, that's it.
Part of the thing is that, like, they say in the story multiple times that she is a young heiress, and he basically, like, uses her to, like, get invited to this party at their house, and that's where he, like, describes all the food in great detail.
Or the food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so...
Because he doesn't care.
Yeah. But anyway, so he's a school teacher. He tries to court this young heiress named Katrina von Tassel. But she is also being pursued by a local man named Brom Bones. And then later on in the story, Ichabod attends a party at the Von Tassel household where ghost stories are shared, and apparently he was, like, prone to believing in the supernatural and blah, blah, blah. And while there, he, like, basically proposes to Katrina, and she turns him down. And then he just, like, leaves. He doesn't, like you said, he doesn't really care. But on his way home, he is chased by a Headless Horseman who may or may not be Brom Bones in disguise. Because Brom was, like, very much in love with Katrina and, like, had attempted to fight with Ichabod earlier. And Ichabod was like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. I don't care.
Also, Ichabod Crane is a skinny little bitch who cannot fight.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But anyway...
I say that with love.
So on his way home, he is chased by a Headless Horseman who throws a pumpkin at him, throwing Ichabod off of his horse. Ichabod then disappears, never to be seen again. The next day, his horse returns home, and at the scene of, like, where they think he disappeared, all they can find is a smashed pumpkin. So, and that is how the story ends, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Which is also why, in many versions of, like, a Headless Horseman, especially, like, Halloween costumes and stuff like that, the horseman has, like, a pumpkin for a head. It's because he's headless, so he uses the pumpkin, and it comes from the fact that, like, a pumpkin was thrown at Ichabod. Mm-hmm. That isn't actually what the Headless Horseman was using as his head.
Mm-hmm.
He just didn't have one.
He just didn't have one, and he threw a pumpkin at him, so...
Yeah.
You know. But anyway.
I tried to buy a pumpkin yesterday from a blacksmith, but I was too late.
But...
It's a very you problem to have.
Yeah.
But okay.
I was at the Civil War, and I was trying to buy a pumpkin from a blacksmith, but I showed up too late, and I couldn't get a pumpkin.
Oh my goodness. Also, yeah, Hannah is trying to be a nurse in the Civil War.
I've changed my mind. I'm gonna be some kind of writer.
Oh, okay.
Because I want a cool little desk.
That's fair.
We'll see.
I feel like we need to specify Hannah is becoming more involved in Civil War reenacting for various reasons. So
yes. No, she's just gonna be a nurse author in the Civil War. That's all.
Yeah.
You know, don't worry about it.
With period appropriate socks. Okay.
That she knit herself, damn it.
Damn it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
Oh boy. Okay. Okay. So, according to historian Elizabeth Bradley at the historic Hudson Valley, a likely source for Irving's Horseman can be found in Sir Walter Scott's 1796 The Chase, which is a translation of the German poem The Wild Huntsman by Gottfried Berger, and is likely
based... Is he
based...
German? Yes, I really can't tell.
Right? I mean, maybe. And that poem is likely based on Norse mythology. So basically, it's a story based on a poem, based on a poem, based on a poem, based on a story. Yeah.
Everyone be copying everyone.
It's plagiarism all the way down.
It's a very, very long line of the game Telephone about a dude on a horse who may or may not have a head.
Don't worry about it. Mind your own business.
Right? Yeah, it's fine. But Elizabeth Bradley says that this might be the source because, quote, Irving had just met and become friends with Scott in 1817, so it's very likely that he was influenced by his new mentor's work.
And they were boning.
Yep. Oh my goodness.
Have you guys... No, I ask you this every week if you've watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Never mind.
Yes. Yes, we have.
Bone!
Bone!
Yep.
How dare you.
Oh my goodness. The poem is about a wicked hunter who is doomed to be hunted forever by the devil and the dogs of hell as punishment for his crimes. So she thinks that The Legend of Sleepy Hollow is based partially on this poem because Washington Irving and Sir Walter Scott were friends. But
Friends.
Quote unquote friends. But oh my goodness, yes. But slide 6, according to the New York Historical Society, many others believe that that's not necessarily the case. It's possible that he was inspired by this poem, but if he is or was, it was just like a tiny bit. Others believe Irving was inspired by an actual Hessian, oh my god, words, soldier who had died during the Battle of White Plains around Halloween in 1776. And the rest of this is a bunch of quotes, basically, because I tried to, rewrite it, but the way that they had written this was just better than I could rewrite it. So, anyway, most of the folklore of early America was so fresh and raw that many cultivated writers rejected it in favor of the more romantic tales and ballads of Europe. Yet Washington Irving, who dearly loved the antique and quaint, was one of the first to recognize the romance in the tall tales and rough practical jokes of the frontier, which it's New York, it's not the frontier, but whatever.
Okay, but it was.
I know.
Once upon a time.
So, Irving was born in 1783 in New York. And he actually died in 1859 in Tarrytown, which is basically half a mile from Sleepy Hollow. So he was very much part of the landscape of which he wrote. So very much grew up in the area, knew the tales and folklore around that area. And it's a known fact that Hessian I cannot, too many S's. Anyway, Hessian mercenary soldiers fought for the British during the Revolution. The area near Sleepy Hollow was contested ground where two relatively important battles were fought, the battles of Manhattan and the Battle of White Plains. So, on September 17th, 1776, General William Howe ordered a regiment of Hessian mercenaries into battle. The Americans fled in disarray, at the oncoming Hessians. Reports of Hessians bayoneting, retreating / surrendering American soldiers at Brooklyn Heights were widely believed and added to the already existing terror surrounding the Hessian mercenaries. And then blah, 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 doesn't matter. So on October 28th, in White Plains, New York, General Howe again sent the Hessians out into battle. After brutal battles, the Americans retreated. On October 31st, both armies regrouped, and General William Heath wrote, quote, "An artillery shell took off the head of a Hessian artilleryman." And so most people believe that it is possible that this is the event that prompted the origins of some of the local lore in the area of White Plains, New York. Because there were tales in the area of like a headless soldier, essentially. And it's widely believed that this Hessian was buried at the Old Dutch churchyard in Sleepy Hollow. So,
yeah.
Basically, most people think that he was drawing from the tales of that soldier, that battle, and all of that to create this Headless Horseman, while also drawing from, like, the European tales of, like, Headless Horseman and stuff like that. And, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that he, like, didn't take any inspiration from the poem by Sir Walter Scott, but I tend to lean more towards this one for why he kind of came up with, like, a Headless Horseman sort of thing. But, yeah, anyway, that's really, honestly, like, all I have. Obviously, like, the Tale of Sleepy Hollow became popularized in America. One, because of, like, the book. Two, because Disney did a movie on it, which is real fucking trippy when you're, like 6.
Like, I remember seeing it, and I can remember, like, stills from it, but I don't actually remember, like, the story, because I haven't seen it since I was a literal child.
I mean, it's basically Sleepy Hollow, but he, like, I don't think he, like, dies at the end, or, like, disappears forever. And they, like, changed it so that he's, like, definitely very much in love with this girl or whatever.
Well, it's Disney. You can't have gay people in it, so.
Right. And then it was, from what I remember, because last time I saw it, I was, like, really young. The, like, scene where he's being chased down, the, like, Headless Horseman has, like, the pumpkin head, and his eyes are, like, on fire, and it's just, like, real spooky, real trippy. But I still, to this day, because there is one point in that movie where he's, like, singing a song or something, or, like, there's a song when he gets introduced, and it just goes, Ichabod, Ichabod Crane. And so, like, to this day, that just randomly pops into my head, and I will sing it, and I don't know why.
I do not remember that
movie. Yeah, I don't remember that part either. But I
it might not be in that movie. It might be in something else. But
well, why else would people be singing about it?
Right? Yeah, that's why I don't know. Anyway,
Hannah, what were you
saying? I think that movie. Oh my god! If one of you interrupts me one more time, I think that movie is like one of those cultural things that we've all somehow seen, but we can't remember how or why.
Yeah.
Right.
I know that movie, but I can't remember sitting down as a child and watching it. I think it, like,
Same.
It's forced upon us in, like, 3rd grade or something.
Yeah.
Where it's just part of the curriculum where it's like, hey, let's, fuck up our kids with this weird movie.
Right, let's watch that one, and then, like, Hunchback of Notre Dame, and let's just, like, completely fuck up these children.
Oh my god, I love that movie.
Look, I like that movie now, but as a child, I was like, what the fuck? But then again, it was at my Christian Baptist school, so it was probably them being like, look at what the Catholics did.
Okay, first of all, that is an exaggeration written by Victor Hugo.
I'm well aware, but going back to the beginning of why I know nothing about Catholicism.
And why you fought with me about gold. What was I going to say about that? Oh, do you remember the VHS ad that was on the front of all of those Disney movies where it was like an advertisement for the Disney parks?
I do.
There's
remember
a
that.
part where there's a ride where something drops. I don't remember what it is, but I don't know. Something drops down and there's someone like dangling by a rope.
Oh,
do you remember what I'm talking about?
I remember the ad, but I don't remember like that part.
That scared the shit out of me, and I don't know why.
I mean, I remember
it's really
none
scary.
of that.
I'm gonna look it up.
Oh, okay.
Weird.
What year do you think that was? 1990?
I don't know.
In the 90s.
Yeah.
Is my sound off?
I don't know.
Right.
Anyway.
But yeah, so there's that movie, and then there's also the Sleepy Hollow movie with Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci, which I love and
I've not seen it.
It's very good. It's not at all this story of
I found it.
The Legend of Sleepy. Well, it's kind of that story, but not really. The like Brothers Grimm are in it, and
I don't know.
Yeah, it's yeah, they're in it, and then there's something about like the Headless Horseman takes like 7 young girls to like revive his dead wife, or I don't even remember.
That's not even remotely close to the source material.
Look, it's a good movie. Yeah. It's just not at all this.
Mm-hmm.
So, and in that he like has an axe, and doesn't carry around his head. He's just headless. Mm-hmm. So, good times. Mm-hmm. And then my sources were all these things on the last slide. So, folklorethursday.com, irishtimes.com, Wikipedia, Myths and Folklore, wiki on fandom.com, crunch.com, theirishplace.com.
Cool.
All the places. But yeah, that's really all there is to it. Basically just that, like, the Headless Horseman has existed for many, 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 many years, and the Sleepy Hollow one is not the first one to ever exist, and is not even, like, the most prolific one.
Yeah.
I feel like I went through that way quicker than I normally do on my episodes, but yeah.
That's fine.
I'm okay with it.
To edit.
Because I am literally about to have a heat stroke, so.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts, feelings? Nope. Anything? Hannah, did you draw us our picture?
Yeah, it's in the Facebook chat.
Oh, did you? Well, I have my phone muted, so there we go. Okay, our ending is that we have no ending. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to The Triad. Our music is by Scott Buckley. Our audio is recorded by our sound engineers, Craig Bott and Audrey Credo.
If you like the show, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, YouTube, and Tumblr as The Triad Podcast.
We're also on Patreon as The Triad. Currently, all Patreon funds will go towards the cost of hosting the show. Each tier has its own rewards, but every patron receives our undying gratitude. Do you have comments, questions, or stories? Email us at thetriadpod@gmail.com. And thank you again for listening to The Triad, where we're spooky but sensitive.